Hello friends, this is Bright here. Through this video, I am going to explain in Python how we can block a thread and how we can check whether a thread is active or inactive, whether it is executing or not. So, first part, how to block a calling thread. For that, we use a method called join, and there is another method isAlive. Through isAlive method, we can check whether a thread is running or not. So this is a syntax of join method, join with an optional parameter timeout. The definition goes like this. The join method blocks the calling thread until the mentioned thread has completed its task or its timeout occurs. Imagine that from the main thread we are creating a child thread. So main thread is the caller of child thread. Now we can block the calling thread main thread till the completion of the child thread. So I'll illustrate through a simple example. So before that, let us see about the isAlive method. IsAlive method, it is to check whether a thread is still alive or not. If it is alive, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Now we are going to see a very simple example to illustrate how the join and isAlive can be implemented in Python. So I am using my PyCharm as editor. This is the version of PyCharm. So from threading module, I am importing the thread class. Then I am importing threading module, and in this example I will be using the sleep method also. So for that I am using import time. Now I am creating the class my thread, any name we can give, and this is a subclass of thread. Now I am going to override the destructor. Call the superclass constructor by using thread dot init, pass that self argument. And now I am going to override the run method, where the run method contains body of the thread. So what is the thread job? So here I am going to just display some values 1 to 5. So for I in range 1,6, so we'll get 1 to 5. Print I am going to convert to this str because I am going to append some str data along with this 1 colon as separator, then plus. We are going to display the thread name also. So threading dot current thread dot get name. So this is a very simple method. The current thread method returns the reference of the current running thread, and we are getting its name by using get name method. Yeah. Now if name is equal to main, so now we are going to code the main thread. Let us say main thread starts with a welcome message, welcome from We can do like this: welcome from threading dot current thread dot get name. So right now we didn't create any child thread. When we run the program, we can see only the main thread is running. Let me show you the output. We can see that welcome from main thread. Then now we are going to create our first child thread. T1 is the name of the thread. Thread object. Create first child thread. So T1 is the thread object name. My thread. Yes. Now in the main thread, I am going to put some display. Let us say that for in range from 11 to 15, so 11,16, we are going to say that print again str of I plus with a separator, then plus threading dot current thread dot get name. So here we can see 11 colon main thread, 12 colon main thread. Since I have to append I with str data, I converted I to str. Otherwise, we could have directly mentioned I without any explicit type conversion. Now, the T1 is created, but it is not yet started. I will show the outcome. We can clearly see that only the main thread is running. The child thread is not yet executed. So, change T1's state to ready state. For that, T1 dot start. And now we can see the first line is welcome from thread. At that time, the child is not yet created. Then line number 18, we are creating the first child thread. Line number 20, its status is ready now. And now we can see a mix of main thread execution and our child thread execution. So here the thread 1, this is the default name for the first child thread. If we want, we can change its name as I mentioned in my previous video. T1 dot set name, some name we can give it. Now if we want, we can sleep our thread for some time. Let us say that time dot sleep 0.5 seconds, so half second sleeping. Now in this flow of output, one thing we can notice that here itself the main thread is finishing its job, but even after that the child thread is still active. That should not happen. So imagine that our VLC player is running now. We are playing a song. So playing a song is a thread, a child thread. The moment we open the VLC player, the main thread is started. From the main thread, we are creating each and every child thread. So now I am going to close the VLC player. Imagine that one of the child thread, the playing thread is still running. Then even after closing the VLC player, the application is still running. That's what we feel. It should not happen. So before the main thread is exiting, we should ensure that all child threads are over. So what we can do it? For that, we have to block the main thread till the T1 child thread is getting finished. So how it can be done? For that, somewhere in the main thread, we can say that T1 dot join. Here I didn't mention any timeout. So without any argument, join. So here the calling thread, so the calling thread means our main thread. Main thread will be blocked until T1 is finished. So here you can see that when this line is executed in the main thread, the main thread has to wait till the completion of thread T1. Now let us see the execution. You can see the line number 23 and 24 where we are displaying 11 colon main thread, that is starting only after the completion of thread 1. So if I put some argument, let us say that 2, so timeout is 2 seconds. And now you can see that the clear difference between join without argument and join with argument. If we mention join with some timeout, the calling thread will be blocked only for 2 seconds. After that, the calling thread continues its job. You can see that main thread is uh, running and it is completing its task before the child thread. But if you don't mention any timeout value, the calling thread, main thread, has to wait till the completion of T1. So here the T1 is, we can see that when the T1 is getting over, it means the life of T1 is over. So after T1 dot join, we are going to check what is the status of T1, whether it is still active or inactive, or alive or dead. For that, print say status of T1. T1 dot is alive. Let us see the outcome now. You can see here status of T1, it is false. It means its life is over. It has come to dead state. So before the join method, I am going to copy and paste the code before calling the join method. Let us see what is the outcome. So I'll put some marker here. Let us say star, just to differentiate. You can see that the status of T1 here, it is true. It means it is active. So in this illustration, I explained how the join method works in Python thread and how the isAlive function is working. So the join method is to block the calling thread. If we mention some parameter, the calling thread will be blocked for a particular amount of time. If you don't mention any timeout value like this, it has to wait till the completion of T1. There is no timeout there. And the purpose of isAlive function is just to check whether the thread is alive or not. That's all. Thank you for watching this video.